Well, I'm very pleased to say we can now speak to John Bolton, former United States Ambassador to the United Nations and National Security Advisor to President Donald Trump. John, it's always wonderful to have you on the show. Let's have a look at where you think we are with the situation in Ukraine at the moment, with Western intelligence agencies briefing that perhaps Russia could yet win this war. The idea that has been stated by Russian general that there could be permanent occupation, certainly of the south. Do you think that we're nowhere near out of the woods yet?
Well, I think that's very clear. I mean, I think the performance of the Russian military at the beginning of the war, the first 7 weeks, was very unexpectedly incompetent. Certainly, I don't think Western intelligence believed it would go as badly for the Russians as it did. That isn't to take anything away from the heroism of the Ukrainian defenders, but the real story here is the bad Russian strategy, bad tactics, bad logistics. Now, we're in another phase, but I think we're in a race against time. Whether Russia can get its act together before the weapon supplies that President Zelensky has been pleading for can get to the front lines of the Ukrainian defense forces. And I think this development this morning that you just mentioned of Russian commanders saying expressly that it's not just the eastern part of Ukraine that the Russians are after, but the southern part, and meaning the whole southern part, the entire north coast of the Black Sea, including the port of Odessa, is very significant. So I do think, as world leaders have said, this is a critical phase, and I don't think we can predict the outcome at this point or how long it will last.
It's a critical phase indeed, but a big stumbling block from the beginning when it comes to NATO's resilience and helping Ukraine arm itself against Russia has been Germany. And Germany saying that if we give our tanks, our old stock even to Ukraine, well, we're in a mess. And also, if we cut off Russian fuel supplies, we're going to go into recession. On the balance of risks, is that something that Germany should be prepared to do? Or at this point, is it the case that Putin will probably stop at nothing and Germany has, a national obligation to look after its own interests?
Well, I think this is the kind of split inside NATO that Putin will look to exploit. And it's not the only split. It's not the only place where Germany has diverged from other allies. And I think it portends real difficulty for the alliance going forward. I think we've been patting ourselves on the back collectively a little bit too much here. And I think it's a real indication, not just in Germany's unwillingness to supply the heavy weapons that Ukraine really needs at this point, but Germany's continued unwillingness to cut off its purchases of oil and gas from Russia. Perhaps they will at some point, but every day that goes by that Russia is still being paid for the oil and especially the natural gas that it's piping to Europe are days that Putin's still making a profit off this war.